This. Hello. Good morning, Aurora. We're live. It's 9 o'clock. Hope everyone is doing well. It's early in the morning. Either you're going away to work or watching us right now get to work. So right here with us, we have our special guest, Gabriela Bautista from FNBO. How you doing today, Gabby?
I'm doing really good. I'm doing fine. It's a nice morning, nice weather.
How's your start of the year? It's going so far.
So far it's going well. We are seeing picking up more and more applications as we go. I think it's tax season, so a lot of people are getting their refunds or seeing where they are in the possibility of purchasing their home.
All right. So that's good. That's good to hear. So we're going to talk a little bit about why home inspection is important and when you're trying to purchase a house. Realtor, I can give you a little bit of perspective, and also we have here the mortgage lender. So why those stuff go in hand. From my experience, I can tell you because it is such a high competitive market that we need to make sure that the house is in safe condition, stable condition, because since it's a very competitive market, that almost everything is being sold as is. So if you don't have a home inspection, you don't know what condition it's in. And that's what I ask these buyers. I know you want a house, I know you want it now, but you need to know how it is, because it can be costly in the long run. Unless you're handy or you're into construction, go ahead, I guess. But still, I recommend it to know what's going on. At least you have an idea when you have the report, what to fix, how much it's going to cost you, what to save up for. And then on the other hand, in the mortgage industry, tell me why home inspection is important. I know we also go into a little bit into appraisal this question, but from your perspective, on your end, can you tell the audience why it's important to have a home inspection?
Yes, it is. Like you said earlier, it's very important to know what you're getting yourself into. Even if the home looks good, it looks remodeled and fresh, a lot of times there might be structural damages that may come up in the appraisal. But a lot of times as lenders, we don't require to have an inspection, but we do recommend it. We don't look into it unless you're getting a special type of loan, or some loans require it, some don't, most don't. And also you need for any city grants, any sort of down payment assistance, an inspection will be necessary, because example, the city of Aurora has a great grant. They want to make sure you are purchasing something that is safe. And if there are any issues, most likely they'll give them back to you. They'll say whether you can fix them or the seller, but they will deny your application if you do not have a home inspection.
Interesting. So in other words, in this case, the Village of Aurora wants to make sure the house is in good condition, habitable, that it's not like pretty much falling apart. That's what you're saying?
Yes.
In order to give that the grant. Okay, so now you know, people, and home inspection is really pertinent, especially if you're gonna get the city grant from Aurora, which is a really good help to help first-time home buyers. So tell us a little bit about your time in the industry. Who's Gabby, and what is FNBO?
Okay, well, I've been in this industry since June 2022. So I joined just when the rates were scaling back up. I think we were in the fives or so. And yes, every day when we would check, it would just keep going up and up. So I joined at a very interesting time. I joined right after the amazing rates. So things were still happening. Things were coming in. But you know, we had limited inventory, and then rates going up. So I've only been in the industry for 2.5 years. You could say I have learned a lot in these 2.5 years. I came from nothing. I had no finance banking background, and little by little, things have been just clearer to me. I think with every loan that we do, each case is different, so we learn. It's a learning experience. So it's always better to learn by doing than by just reading books. Of course, we still need to read guidelines and all, but just by doing. Before that, I worked at the VNA for 8.5 years.
Okay,
8.5 years I was there.
What got you to be in the mortgage lending industry part of it?
Very interesting. I think I was ready for a change. I was like, I need something. It's something different, something. I'm not doing anything new. Everything's the same. I'm not learning. Not to say anything about VNA. I had a great time. It was wonderful, and it gave me, I think, the abilities to be here. Anyway, yeah.
And FNBO, what is FNBO? Well, people don't know because they just hear, what is that? Is that a channel? Is that a Sherry?
It's an acronym, right?
Yeah, what is it?
Yeah, what is it? It's a bank, First National Bank of Omaha. It is 167 years old.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm referencing back to my 2023 shirt that says 165. So 167. It is the oldest private bank in the United States. And it's been around for more than 100 years. We do have some branches in Oswego, Yorkville. The closest to here, I would say, is Sugar Grove. We do service those branches, but there's all out west, in Rockford, DeKalb, also like Marengo area, like in the hills.
Is it just in Illinois, or is it across the nation?
It's in quite a few states.
Oh,
quite a few states like Colorado, Nebraska, obviously. Nebraska. I know there's Kansas City. I'm thinking of the state, Missouri. I'm like Kansas City, Missouri. So there's quite a few states that are covered by FNBO. So we can do loans pretty much anywhere in the United States. We just have certain loans that cover, like portfolio loans, cover certain areas only. So if somebody tells me they want to buy in, I don't know, New York, we can still do a conventional or an FHA loan. Maybe we won't be able to do our road to home over there, or any other, or our ITIN loan. Those are portfolio.
All right. So the time is 9:10. Everyone who's tuning in or just starting to tune in right now, we're talking the state of the market. We're talking a little bit about a home inspection, a little bit about Gabriela Bautista, FNBO. Wrap it up. Not to bore you a lot with numbers. Mix it up over here. So everyone who's watching right now, thank you. And so the next question will be, since you mentioned a little bit about appraisal. What is appraisal? Because most people think when they're going to purchase a house, it's just one inspection, right? And then I'm like, yeah, no. I mean, yes and no, but so it's just the bank, right? And I'm like, well, that's for the bank. That's for they need to make sure the house is in good condition. They're not going to prove nothing that it's not. And the other home inspection is for you to know like why you need to fix or not to fix. And they're like, oh, okay. So can you tell us like why the home, the what is appraisal and why it needs to be done? Because some cases we hear now with this competitive market, they do a appraisal waiver.
Yes.
So
yes.
Can you
Yes.
elaborate a little bit on that?
Yes, yes. So an appraisal is it's an inspection, maybe not as detailed as a home inspection when it comes to like the indoor. Like I tell my customers, they're gonna come and open cabinets. They're gonna pretty much inspect everything during your home inspection. But the appraisal is gonna look at overall the structure of the home, making sure the home is safe to live in. It doesn't matter whether it's a, let's say, outdated, old, maybe from the 70s. It's got wallpaper. It's okay as long as it's safe to live in. Everything works. You can move in right away, depending on the type of loan. Again, if it's just a conventional, we want to make sure that they are able to occupy the property. But also, it's gonna make sure that the house is worth whatever the seller is asking. The bank is only gonna finance the amount that the house is worth. And also they're going to do a comparison to houses that have been sold in the nearby areas and see if this house really is worth the 200,000, the 250, the 300 that they're asking for. If it's not, if the appraisal comes in low, normally we will communicate with all parties. And then it's, your job, the attorney's job to talk to the seller and say, hey, we need to lower the price on this, unless they signed an appraisal
Waiver.
Yes, which is when they offer more over the amount that the appraisal came in. Mm-hmm. Some people offer 5,000, some people 10. I think the most I've seen is 13,000, but
wow. Okay.
yes,
okay.
and it appraised, so we were very, very, very happy. But I've seen as little as 1,000 too. So it's whatever I would always say, like, just make sure you have the money.
Yeah.
Plan for worst case scenario, because if you don't have that, you were planning to get it maybe from a gift, a friend, and maybe that friend backs out, then you're gonna lose that property. So so the bank will only finance what the property is worth, whether it's what the seller is asking, less, or sometimes even more. But they'll only finance whatever that property is worth.
So in other words, there's two aspects. One, well, of course, what the seller is asking, what they want for the house, and what you offer. And then the other one is once they do the appraisal, they actually know the real value of it, and then that's what the bank they're gonna go off from. That's the price, that's the value that they're gonna finance you, and they're gonna make it valid. Because in the other case, they want 250, and then they do the appraisal and it comes at 240. Now we have about $10,000 just floating around. So is the seller gonna lower it because the bank is only gonna approve that loan for what the appraisal set for? If not, then is the buyer gonna cover whatever difference? That's what we mean by the appraisal waiver. So this is a really important subject we need to talk about, because if you don't know, it can be really, really confusing. But feel free also to reach out with the experts. Aron Rodriguez, you can look at me on my social media as Aron Rodriguez Century 21. And what's your social media?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. You can look me up as Gabriela Bautista, and it's got my NMLS number in it.
Okay. So I know we talk about a little bit about other. You want to add something?
I wanted to add a little bit on if the appraisal comes in higher than what they're asking. That is a good thing. That is always a good thing. We will not share that number with the seller. We will only share it with a buyer, and we'll say, hey, you're good. The appraisal came in at 260 and it was supposed to be 250. We can move on. That doesn't mean now you owe 260. We're still moving on with the original price. We always want it to be higher, of course.
Yeah.
So that way they have some equity as well. They're starting out with some equity in their purchase, their purchase.
Yeah, that's really, really important. So if the appraisal comes a little bit higher, don't share that info with the seller. Okay. Very, very important. Don't tell your attorney to share. Don't tell your realtor, your lender. Keep it to yourself. That's for your own informational purposes. So I know we mentioned a little bit about other types of loans. Can you talk a little bit, because I know, especially when you're a first-time home buyer, you get FHA, and then you're looking at townhouse, you're looking at whatever, you're looking at everything. And then the realtor says, you know what, this is not FHA allowed. Or another thing that I have encountered is with maybe mobile homes, manufactured homes. FHA is not allowed. Or they're like, well, what can I do to get conventional? Or if you also, there's BA loans. So can you elaborate a little bit about that types of loans, so the people that are watching us, they can be like, oh, okay, so maybe if I want a conventional loan, and I know what to do to get prepared for it.
Right. Well, conventional, we always say, like, the higher your score, the better. If you're in the 700s, I think you're good. Even 680 and above. Once we drop a little bit below that, and then depending on what's in your report, we may be able to run it conventional. We may not. We have a portfolio loan that we can go as low as 620 on the credit score, and you can still be conventional. And it has no mortgage insurance with only 3% down. So that is one of the options that I offer some of the clients. If they don't, if for some reason they can't do that one, either doing a little bit of a credit repair. We have a wonderful organization here in Aurora called the Financial Empowerment Center. I usually send my clients over there to, hey, just, have them take a look at your credit report and see what can we do. Normally it'll tell you why your score is low. So either getting your score higher or perhaps looking into some of the portfolio loans.
Interesting. So what are the difference between the FHA and conventional?
FHA is a federally backed loan, so it comes with more regulations. It'll come with, we all know the famous hand railing. If you have some steps and for some reason that doesn't have handrail, most likely they are going to require for handrails to be installed. Peeling paint. Simple things like peeling paint that you could say, oh, I can fix that. It's no big deal. I'll do it after the closing. No, most likely they will want the seller to remove that peeling paint and to put in a fresh new coat of paint. So it's got a lot of regulations based on safety. We say FHA loans are normally, it depends, right? But a lot of times if you're using one is because maybe your credit score is not as high as you would want it to be for a conventional loan. I know that after a couple of years, you can after a couple of years of bankruptcy being cleared, you can also get an FHA loan. For conventional, I believe you have to wait. Well, for our portfolio, you would have to wait 3 years, and then just for a regular one would be 4. So it just depends on the customer's credit score and their situation. Now, for those that want to move out, they don't want anything to do with traffic and cities. They want to live out in the country, like most of us. Okay. There are USDA loans. Oh. There are USDA loans. It just has to be in certain areas. So let's say even if Aurora seemed like it had country in it, like it would not qualify. It has to be, yes, there is a map online that you can click. Okay. You can put in your address or the address that you're looking at, and it'll tell you whether you are whether it is USDA qualified or not.
Wow. Okay.
For those that want, the bigger space, they want to be able to maybe bring animals in the future, maybe something like that.
Okay. Just gonna mention the time real quick. It's 9:20. Everyone who's tuning in right now, we're talking a little bit about loans, home inspection, appraisal. Who is Gabriela Bautista and FNBO, the company she works for. So the other next question. You mentioned it, USDA loans. What that means is like houses that are like more than 1 acre of land, or they're sown as agricultural. Are those properties like USDA?
It's depends on we would have to look at the guidelines,
Okay.
I would say start with the map. Start with the looking up at the map, and mostly they're in rural areas, rural communities. I want to say maybe like past Hinckley, Big Rock.
Okay.
Maybe that's. I've had inquiries about Sandwich, but I would have to look it up in the map.
Okay.
So. But VA loans, those are for veterans, for people who have served in the armed forces.
And what is the process for them for that to get a pre-approved if they're in the armed forces? What is the process? Because briefly about a year ago or so, I had someone who served in the armed forces, and I referred him to the lender, and the lender told them XYZ, they need to do the steps. But the person had no idea. Like, really, I need to do this? Don't I just get the money? And I'm like, no.
Well, we normally encourage our customers to come in and, bring in paperwork, right? We would need to see something that is, if you're not you've been in the armed forces, we need to see a paper that has been you've been discharged honorably, or everything else other than not honorable. How do you say it? Like dishonorably.
Okay.
If you have that, then we wouldn't be able to do the loan. But I think honorably, I'm sure there's people that have been discharged medically that we can do the loan for.
Okay. And
but bring in your paperwork. We'll take a look. And we'll normally it shouldn't take that long to get approval. I would say the most would be like a week, but if we have all the paperwork, it's very similar to an FHA loan.
Okay.
Very, very similar. The only thing is that with VA and USDA, it's 100% financed.
Wow. So that means do they need to cover at least something like the earnest money or the home inspection, the home appraisal? Because that's something I try to explain buyers, just because sometimes it's zero down. You still need to cover.
Some things. You still need to have some money, but not as much as you would for a conventional, which would be minimum 3%.
Okay. Wow, that's wonderful.
And it makes a difference, right? Because the price of the purchase price, 3% doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're looking into, the way things are going right now, everything just keeps going up, and seems like 3% is no longer, I don't know, 5,000, 6,000.
We're looking
it's more
10 and up.
Yes. So things have changed.
Yeah. And what is mortgage insurance? I know you talk a little about right now about portfolio loans or something, not having that mortgage insurance. Can you explain what it is?
Yes. Okay. So mortgage insurance is any time that you don't put 20% down on your loan, the bank will charge you a thing called mortgage insurance. It's tied to your credit score. Once again, if you're 680 and above, 720 and above, it's gonna be good. It's not gonna be as much. I can't give you exact numbers right now, but if you're in good standing with your credit, your monthly mortgage insurance will not be that high. We get into trouble once it's below 680. Then the customer is seeing a lot more on their monthly payment. This is in case if you start to default on your loan, what the bank will do is start the proceeding for removal
It's kind of like protecting
foreclosure.
itself.
Yes,
Okay, that's
because
right.
the way they see it is, let's say a 3% person that put 3% versus a person that put 20%. This is a lot riskier than this other one. Why? Because they put 20%. That means they're not going to let it go as easily.
Okay.
I don't think the 3% will let it go as
Yeah.
easily, but this
But-
is the way the bank sees
Yeah,
it.
exactly. I was just going
It's
to
risk,
mention.
right?
Yeah.
It's riskier.
Okay.
So yes, they do that. We do have some loans, including our I-10 loan that does not have mortgage insurance. So it's
Wow.
one extra thing that the customer is saving on that. We have road to home and road to home I-10
Wow.
with 3% and then 10% for I-10.
That's wonderful. That's
Mm-hmm.
wonderful. So that time it's 9:25. We almost leave over here, or they're gonna kick us out. So before they do that, can you tell the people where they can find you? Where's your office?
Yes.
Can you tell your phone number as well?
Yes, of course. My office is at 140 South River Street, Suite 112. Please go to Suite 112. We have an awning that says FNBO Mortgage. A lot of people go into the residential area, and then they're like, we can't find you. I'm like, no, that's for people who live here. We're right next to McCarty Mills, and then there's another business. It's very interesting looking next to us. I still don't know what it is, but we'll find out very soon.
Yeah.
But we're there. Come visit me. My phone number is 708-770-5934. Feel free to send me a text. We do work by appointment only because sometimes we're at closings, we're at events.
Yes.
So if someone were to walk in right now, I wouldn't be there. So
Yeah, so please leave a voicemail, leave her a text. If she don't answer, she will get back to you as soon as possible. If you don't leave one, maybe it's not important, so we wouldn't get to it. It's not that we're ignoring you, but it's just the industry. Sometimes it's just go. Another thing I want to mention, on social media, I see that FNBO is really active in the community. Has a lot of events. Can you explain or say some events that usually they're a part of? So I know it's just start of the year, so when they see it, they're like, all right, that's Gabby.
Yes.
Can you tell which
Oh,
events you're going to be part of?
Yes. So this year we're going to be part of quite a few First Fridays since we're right in the footprint of First Fridays. We're gonna start out in April with the Easter Bunny, in May, June, then sometime August. I think we're doing August. September, we're gonna cover Roots Aurora, and then of course the Coco Crawl, my favorite.
I saw something that you won, right?
Yes, we won. Mireya Luna, who's my colleague and
Hello.
friend. Hi, Mireya. She came up with this recipe. She has a family recipe. She uses chocolate Ibarra. So that's real Mexican chocolate. And then other extra things in there.
Yeah, you don't want to give it out right now.
Yeah. We make it there. Well, we make it we make it there at the office, and then we just serve it fresh, hot, along with conchas. We have done this for a few years now. We bring in these amazing conchas by Pan Trejo, and people love it. They dip it in. We're like, dip it in and enjoy. And then we just provide a space for people to just come and sit down. It can be hectic, especially if you have kids. In the summer, we provide ice cream, sometimes chalk, bubbles, things so kids can be entertained, and maybe the parents can sit down, have a break.
Because it can be a lot of info. So before we leave, do you remember the first client you helped, the first family?
Yes, of course.
You want to give them a quick shout out?
Hi, Francisco. If you're looking at me, if you're watching, Francisco, we all know him. I was able to help him and Maribel buy their first home, and I truly appreciate for all the patience you had, because I was very new. It was my first transaction. I still didn't know what I was doing. Well, a lot of the aspects. I had really good guidance and really good support. Our underwriting, all the team is good. It's good. It's just some of the things I still didn't understand. So thank you so much for putting your faith in me, and we got through. We got it. So
all right, people. That will wrap it up. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. We're going to be here next Thursday at 9 or 9:30 a.m. Thank you, everyone.
Being a local business in Chicago, we've always worked with community banks, but over time, those smaller banks started getting acquired by larger national footprint banks. It became time to work with Wintrust to meet our needs without having to have that big bank feel.
Wintrust understood what they wanted to accomplish, and they've increased in size 5 times over.
As we continue to grow, we're going to keep needing to borrow, so I'm sure they're going to love that.
Serving their needs. It's really the foundation of what Wintrust Commercial Banking is all about.